welcome to my channel. My name's Anita and this is where I love to share my knitting, sewing and crafting. But today isn't about any of those things, it's about my recent trip to Wonderwool. Wonderwool is a fibre festival here in Wales and it's always held at the end of April in the Royal Welsh Showground in Builth Wells. And I went on the Sunday, so it was on the Saturday and Sunday, the 27th and 28th of April. I usually try and go on the Sunday because it's a bit quieter on that day. And it's a nice drive, so it's nicer to go when the roads are a bit more peaceful. I always go with my friend Paula, and I went to pick her up in the morning at about 8 o'clock. We live on the in South Wales, near the coast. And it's a lovely drive for us all through the Brecon Beacons, and we arrived at the showgrounds at about 9:45. The show opens at 10, so it gave us time to have a quick nip to the toilets and then join the queue. Now there are 3 sheds that they hold the festival in. So there's shed 1 and 2 that are connected, they're the main sheds, and then off to the left is shed 3, and we usually are very good and we do it in order. We always go through 1, 2 and then to number 3, but this time we decided to go into shed 3 first to get a quick cup of tea, because we thought we would beat the crowds because everyone else would do 1, 2 and 3. And it wasn't too bad, there wasn't much of a queue, so we grabbed ourselves a cup of tea and a seat, and the first people we bumped into was Anne from No Excuses podcast and her lovely friend Penny. So hello ladies, it was really nice to bump into those. We had a bit of a chat, but then Anne had to rush off because she wanted to get certain yarn from a certain stall and she didn't want them to run out, so she nipped off to do that and we went off to do our own thing. So we had a little wander around shed 3 and then we headed off to shed 1. And I did have a bit of a list, but I didn't really get everything on my list. So I decided to get a kit for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Something a bit different, and I did look everywhere. That wasn't very successful, but I'll explain that later on. And I wanted to get some of the garment blockers, the sort of, I think they're plastic blocks with lots of pins, so that when you're blocking out your garments you can use those instead of individual pins. I couldn't find any of those. I wanted to get a needle punch kit, and I was going to get one for myself and possibly for one of you. Couldn't find those anywhere. And I also needed some DK speckled yarn to make the penny jumper that I started last year and pulled it out. And I needed 975 yards or 892 metres, which in DK worked out to be just over 3 going into 4 skeins. And I thought it'd be nice to get that at Wonderwool because you can see and touch all the yarn. So, as I say, we headed into shed 1 and the very first thing I bought was the Wonderwool bag to put all my purchases in that I plan to make. I took, if you remember, I am on a yarn or even craft supplies buying ban this year. I'm just trying to, I've got so much to use, I feel I should use that first. So I'm trying really hard not to buy many things, but I did make an allowance for Wonderwool, and I had some money for Christmas and I had some money for my birthday, so I had money burning a hole in my pocket to spend at Wonderwool. So this was why I planned to fill this bag with beautiful things. So we wandered around a few of the stalls, and there's always a stall there called Emily Cross Ceramics, and she does really nice magnetic bowls for pins or paper clips and things like that, and they do yarn bowls, and they also do these magnetic seam gauges for your sewing machine, just so that you would keep your seam, so if you do a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, you keep it consistent. And I bought this little one here with a hair on. I thought that was really cute. So I put that in my bag, and that was the only thing I bought all morning. So I was wandering around with this big bag with just one item in it. And then about 12:30, we went back to Shed 3 to watch the fashion show called the Sheep Walk, where a lot of the stall holders come and they get volunteers from the audience, which I'd never do, I'd never be brave enough, to get up on the stage and talk about the yarns or the patterns or clothes or anything that they're selling on their stall, just to inspire you and to let you know where their stalls are. So if you like anything, you can go and find them and hopefully purchase from them. So we watched that, so that was fun. And then it was almost time to meet up with a little group of ladies that we'd already organised to meet up with for lunch. So we were meeting up with Anne from No Excuses podcast, and Penny, who we'd already bumped into, and Pip from Cwtches podcast, Welsh Sal, and also a subscriber of mine called Maggie Hyde. So hello Maggie, it was so lovely to meet you. So that was nice, my first ever encounter with somebody who watches my videos other than fellow podcasters, so that was nice. We had a little chat and had our lunch, and then after that I said I needed to go and find Ellie from Tyddyn Bryn, because I was wearing a scarf that I made from some yarn I purchased from her the year before, and her store just happened to be directly opposite where I was sitting. So I went over to see her, showed her my scarf, had a little catch up with her, then we wandered off again. I was still on the hunt for some kind of kit or a gift of some kind. I wanted something a little bit different for you for my giveaway. So we were still looking for that. And obviously my friend Paula, she was looking for things as well. She wanted to go to the Cool Crafting stall to get, she has made the Luna Lapins from them, and she wanted to make one of Luna Lapin's friends, the sheep. So she wanted to get the felt and things from them. So we also went there. And then I was also still looking for my DK yarn, which was proving quite difficult. And I thought, how can it be difficult to buy yarn in a yarn festival? It's everywhere. But the majority of it seemed to be 4-ply, which in past years has been great, because in usual, normal sort of wool and yarn shops, it's difficult to find 4-ply other than baby knitting wool. So it's nice to see so many different varieties. This time I wanted DK because I want to make the penny jumper, like I say, and I needed 4 skeins. Now, I'm not saying indie dyed yarn isn't worth the money, but it is rather expensive. And when you're knitting a DK jumper and you need 4 skeins, and the skeins are averaging out between 18 and 24 pounds each, that's quite a lot of money. But I did find a stall that had some lovely DK yarn, a slightly cheaper, and that's not why I bought it. The stall had some scarves and different things on display. They all do that, knit their yarns up so you can see what it looks like. And some of the shawls had reverse stocking stitch, so the pearl bumps are on the visible side, which is what the penny jumper's got. So some of the yarns, I don't like the look of it on the pearl side, but this one particular colourway they had looked really nice, but it was on 4-ply. So I asked the gentleman on the stall, did they have something similar but in DK? And they had several, and it was really helpful. And I found one that I really liked, and that's behind me. I shall show you now. So this is the name of the company, Natural Knits, designs by Trisha Fothergill. So it's her and her husband, so it's Trisha and Ian. And this is the yarn I bought. And it's not speckled, I just couldn't find speckled, but it did look, the shawl was in a very, very similar colourway, and it did look really nice on the pearl side. So this is DK, and does it say 100% organic Falklands Merino, 100 grams to 240 metres, 260 yards. So obviously I needed 4 skeins. So these were £15 each. And then as the gentleman, Ian, was getting the 4 skeins together, I spoke to his wife and said, right, how much do I owe you? And she said, oh, as you're buying so much, he'll probably give you a discount. So when her husband came over, she said, oh, how much discount are you going to give this lady? I said she could have some because she's bought so much. He said, oh, £10. And I said, oh, that's lovely, thank you. I wasn't expecting that. Because here they are, all the 4. And so she said, right, okay, that's great. So she said, that's £18.99 times 4. And he said, no, 15. And she said, oh, I thought you'd have given her the merino silk. I think it was merino silk. He said, no, she chose this yarn and it's £15 the skein. And I could tell she wasn't really very happy with that. But he'd already said, so I had the 4 skeins for £50 instead of 60, which I thought was a bargain. So I left them thinking, I might have caused a domestic. And then I did feel a bit guilty afterwards because, they do put a lot of work in and they have to get to the show and all that sort of thing. So I thought, if I knit this yarn up and I really like it, I will go back onto their website and buy some more full price to make up for the fact that I had this discount. But that's lovely. Can't wait to start knitting on that. You can see some green in this too, because I like green, as you can tell, that side, as you can tell. We then went back to the cool crafting stall because Paula wanted another look. And not only do they do the lunar lappings and the kits and everything for those, they also sell sewing patterns for people and beautiful fabric. Their shop is in Kendal, so if ever I go up to the Lake District, I'm definitely calling in there. And they have some beautiful fabric and lots of samples of the fabric sewn up with the patterns that they also sold. Not their own patterns, just all different, I think they're indie patterns. And I had recently, that week before going to Wonderwool, bought a sewing pattern. Even though I'm on a craft supplies ban, I just really wanted a shirt dress pattern, and I'll go and get it to show you. So I sent for this, the vintage shirt dress by Sew Over It, because I just want a shirt dress pattern, and you can have the no sleeves or the collar, the buttons and the sleeves, and I wanted to have a go at sewing buttons and doing the collar. I have made a little shirt for Harry when he was little with buttons and collar, but that was ages ago. I remember having difficulty with the collar because I didn't quite understand the instructions, but it was one of the big 4 design companies, and they don't give you as many directions or instructions. I find out now, but I didn't know then. So I'm really looking forward to making that. It hadn't arrived, so I wasn't sure how much fabric I would need. And for my size, the size 12, it says that I could possibly need 3.6 metres or 2.8, depending on the width of the fabric. But I was going to just buy 2.5 to 3 metres, and I, and hope that, because usually that is about right for a dress. So anyway, I was looking at all their fabrics, and they had some lovely viscose challis on the table, but that was obviously too drapey for a shirt dress with a collar. You need something with a little bit of stiffness for the collar to sit properly. And under their display, they had this beautiful floral fabric, cotton. I I don't know if you can get a cotton chalet. It might have been cotton lawn or something like that. So it was cotton, but it was very fine. And I thought that would be perfect. And I looked on the table, they had it in viscose chalet, but not in the cotton. So I said to the lady, do you have any of this fabric left that you're displaying under, or is like a tablecloth under the display? Or is it there because it was the end of the bolt or whatever? And she came over and looked, and she said, oh, I've got some of that on the table. And I said, no, that's viscose chalet, and I'm making a shirt dress. That would be too floaty, although it's beautiful. Bearing in mind this was £18 a metre. So she said, no, she said, that's all we've got of that. She said, actually, I remember it now that their fabric supplier had sent her the wrong fabric. She had ordered the viscose chalet, he had sent the cotton by mistake, so he had told her, oh, just keep that and send her the proper one. So that's why they were just using it on the display. They weren't planning to sell it. And this was quite late in the day. It was about 3:30 and the show shuts at 4. So she said, are you staying till the end of the show? And I said, yes. And she saw I could take it off and, give it to you at the end. And then she had a little think. And then she said, oh, actually, no, that'd be a bit too stressful because they'll be trying to pack everything away. And she gave me their card, this one, here with all their information on. And she said, send me an email when you get home. And then when we get home back to Kendal, I can sort out a length for you, make sure I've got enough. Check that it's not damaged in any way. Because we've been using it on the display, you can have it at a discount and I'll send it to you. So I said, oh, lovely, that would be great. So when I got home, I did email them, so on the Sunday. Obviously, I wasn't expecting them to reply then. Now we're on the Thursday, and as yet I still haven't had a reply. So I don't know whether to bother emailing them again or just leaving it and choosing something else somewhere else. But I thought I was going to have another bargain, and maybe I still will, but as of yet, no. And by this time of the day, like I said, it was about 3:30, 3:45 by then, and I was panicking because I still hadn't got a gift for one of you, and I decided I would go back to Ellie at Tyddyn Bryn because she's a lovely lady and she dyes all her own yarn from her own flocks of sheep on her small holding in West Wales. And I went back to tell her that I was doing a giveaway. And could I choose? I wanted something Welsh because I wanted the Welsh theme in there. And I chose a skein of yarn from her for you, which is this one. So there's green, pinks, purples. Paula helped me choose. Green's my favourite colour. Purple's her favourite colour. So that's why you've got that. And it's called Susan's Marigold. And it's Tyddyn Bryn's Pastoral Sock. It's 100 grams, 400 metres, 437 yards, 100% wool, Shetland and Welsh White. All home raised or locally sourced and locally spun before returning to the small holding to be dyed. So there's a skein of that, and then she gave me this pattern for you. I think I've done this myself. I'll have to have a look. The Jewels Shawl. I'll put a proper picture up because you can't really see it in there, and it is made with one skein of yarn, and that's why I'm sure I knit that the year before and took it to show her. So you get the pattern. Obviously you don't have to do that if you don't want to, and a skein of yarn as a thank you for all of you that have subscribed and watched my channel and left comments and likes. All appreciated. So if you would like to win this, then please leave a comment below. Make sure you're subscribed, obviously. Leave a comment with the word Wonderwool in it, and I shall enter you into the draw. And I will draw for this in a couple of weeks' time. We are now at the very beginning of May, 2nd of May, so maybe at the end, somewhere towards the end of May. And I will announce it. I will put it on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, gaga.knits, then I shall also say who the winner is on there, because I am aware some people don't watch my videos straight away, and if you're busy or away, it would be unfair of you not to be able to be in with a chance of winning it just because you didn't get to see the video in time. Anyway, all that this is the prize as a thank you. I hope that's okay. I was hoping for a kit, but some of the kits were very expensive, and then there was a macrame sort of kit, and then I thought, well, what if you wouldn't like to do that? There was an embroidery kit, and I thought, well, most of you who watch like knitting, not sewing, and I just got, ooh, I don't know what to do, so I thought wool is a safe bet. So that's everything I bought. I didn't really buy that much, and I wasn't too concerned with that. I just had a lovely day wandering around, and everyone is so nice there and friendly, and we actually had sunshine. Can you believe it? It was a beautiful sunny day, a little bit chilly because of the wind. We are now back to grey days and raining. It rains every single day here in Wales at the moment, and mind. Right, I'm off now. It is 9 o'clock, so I'm going to go and get ready to go and see my mum and get on with my day. If you went to Wonderwool, please leave a comment below. Let me know what day you went and what you bought, obviously, and what you plan to make. And if you didn't go, still let me know what you're working on, because I always like to know. And I shall see you all next time. Bye!